What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone for a daily news show ahead of Dortmund. And it's an important news show because decisions are, expected from Tudor. And I think for the fans, easy decisions. But is it that easy for Tudor or any coach when you spend tons of money on a player and you're trying to revive him or them? But at what point are you like, okay, I just need to cut ties and I'm gonna go with the players that are actually delivering, or should be getting a chance ahead of the others? So that's what we're gonna talk about. Preview later tonight when Tudor has spoken. But before we get into it, smash the like button because you guys have been doing that and it's helping the channel off massively. And let's get into easy slash controversial decisions for Tudor. Okay, so the easy decision, if you ask a fan, is will you stop giving Koopmeiners a shot or any of these players who have had many opportunities but have not delivered, for that case? For the fans, the answer is probably yes. For Tudor, I think it's very controversial if you ask that question. And I will explain that because whatever you will do or say, the coach will always bring this up. Koopmeiners is more experienced. Off the ball, he has a better thing, better feel of the game. And that might be right. I don't know Adzic off the ball movement or whatever. Even during the game against Inter, I saw, or everybody saw that clip where Tudor was actually yelling at him and saying what he needed to do. But he played well when he came on. Now, with players like Adzic, they're going to make mistakes and they're going to be quote unquote rookie mistakes. But all of these players have made them in the past. And I get it. If you're a top club and you're competing for many things, you're not willing to do that. But when you have a player like Koopmeiners who gets week after week opportunities, last season especially, and doesn't deliver, doesn't do anything. Like against Inter, he didn't have a disaster game, and he had disaster games all season long last year, but he didn't have a positive impact, Eh, eh, Not to say that he had a negative, but there was no positive impact. And this is not me basing it saying on Adzic scoring a screamer, but same goes for Miretti. These players make mistakes, but when they come on, they show a certain intention to play that ball forward, to actually try to make something happen. You don't have that with Koopmeiners. When it comes to Koopmeiners, I think the decision should be you play him, if you want to play him, in the position of Locatelli. And in the position of Locatelli, you do that. If Locatelli is injured, for example, um, if he's suspended or whatever, if you want to give him a rest, etc., you play him in that position, and he will probably do a better job when you press in and stuff like that. It will look better, and you will have some sort of use in him. Right now, when you play him higher up the pitch, he offers absolutely nothing. So, as a fan base, of course, we're all looking at it and saying, we should be giving the other guys, a shot, a fair shot. These guys should be getting a fair shot ahead of a Koopmeiners, etc. And it's only fair to say so. It's only the right decision, in my opinion, to do so. So for the fans, an easy decision. Probably for Tudor, not so much controversial. Now, Tudor has no ties to Koopmeiners because he didn't spend 60 million euros on him. I know for the club it's a lot of money, but you also need to think about yourself, about the team. And if somebody else delivers or offers more, being it a 19-year-old playing for the next gen last season, whatever, Yildiz was playing for the next gen as well. And look what he's doing right now. He is the heartbeat of your team up front. He makes things happen. I'm not even saying that Azic will become that player. I have no idea, But I think it's fair to give him a shot during these couple of weeks and months and see where it goes, because I don't think it will have such a negative impact that he will lose you games, that it will cost you games, that we will drop points because we've been playing at siege. I don't see that happening. I don't believe in that scenario because that, for me, will be a crazy scenario, to think in. So, for Tudor, easy, you would suggest. Also because we have so many injuries, like Contessao is not available, Zegrova is not available. So on that right-hand side, you have absolutely not going on anything. Even when Contessao is not playing bad, teams need to take Contessao into account because he is on that position. He plays in that area of the pitch. You need to keep an eye on that because if he ignites, he can cause damage. When he's not playing, it's easy for them defend. Excuse me. We played McKennie and Kalulu. They don't cross the line. They don't overlap. You have Koopmeiners, who's very basic on the ball right now, and I'm being nice. It all comes down to Yildiz. For example, Vlahovic struggled, but that's because of there was no outlet. Like it was him trying to hold up the play and waiting for somebody to come on. There's nothing moving around him in this formation. So being Tudor, if you want to make certain things happen, you need to take some risk. Miretti is obviously injured, but a player like Adzic could offer more than a player like Koopmeiners. Do I expect him to get a start over Koopmeiners? Absolutely not. Do I expect Tudor to give him more minutes throughout a game? Let's say being subbed on, in minute 60. Yes, I'm expecting that. And actually, it should be a demand from the fan base to see that happen, because too many times, too many players have gotten chance after chance after chance, and they have not delivered, And this is not me or probably the fan base calling about the youngster hype. This is just saying, okay, whoever is ahead of him is not been performing, and the next one up is a youngster, so be it. So be it. I don't really see the issue. Tactically, I know Tudor will give you a big explanation of defensively this, and that. But, what about offensively? What about taking the game to another team, trying to make things happen? Because you're heavily relying on Yildiz at this moment in time with no right-hand side. And he delivered Yildiz, but it's impossible to do that for 90 minutes when there's nobody overlapping, when it's heavily focused on the left-hand side. It becomes difficult for Yildiz. It becomes easier for other teams to deal with as well, because there's nothing you can focus on as a Juve side on that right-hand side. So it's going to be interesting. I don't think Tudor is a type of coach that's gonna wait too long to make certain decisions. I don't think he's that quote unquote stubborn. I think he understands the situation he's in, and he has no real choice at this moment in time than take certain risks and put certain players on their place and put certain players in a team to try to make the difference. For example, now I know it will be a debate in the media, and what about Koopmeiners and this, and what about that player? The best player plays, and right now Koopmeiners in that advanced position is not that best player. So I don't know what you guys think about it. Let me know in the comments. Will you give Koopmeiners another shot, or like I said, use him in more deep lying position? And I think he's better in a Tudor system where he's not heavily focused on I need to make something happen. And will you give Adzic more chances, or Miretti, or whoever, a different player in that position, just to try to make something happen in that area of the pitch where, again, if it's no Conceição or Zigrov or somebody on that right hand side, it all comes down to Yildiz, and it can work and it also cannot work, and we have nothing to fall back on, in my opinion. So let me know, and I will see you guys later tonight for a preview. Ciao.